Everyone has the right to move free and choose his place of residence within each state. This is exactly what the United Nations Convention on Human Rights says. Quite often, Chinese citizens choose Russia to study, work, and live in the country. Let's try to explain the terms of Russian migration law. There is a difference between an entry ban and deportation. Both terms are administrative measures, and the grounds for them are violation of Russian law by a foreigner. And after deportation, there may be a ban on entry. The entry ban is established by the state body. There must be grounds for this. The ban itself means that a foreigner cannot enter Russia, established for a specific period or indefinitely. A Chinese citizen will know that he has an entry ban when he receives a paper notice at the border. On the paper they write which government authority imposed the ban, the article of law and the period of the ban. Also, he can find out grounds for entry ban. We go to the official website of the Ministry of Internal Affairs and write the data request by the form. The form will help us find out which region of Russia initiated the ban and which government authority imposed it. So, we found out the reason for the ban, and it was happened because the foreigner was brought to administrative responsibility several times. This can be for a year or 5 years, depending on the administrative violation. Administrative responsibility can arise for various reasons and in different areas of human activity. This is a violation of the law, but not a crime. For example, he smoked where smoking is not allowed, violated migration registration, board registration, and so on. Each situation will be individual. This is where we begin to work with the authorities. Most often, entry bans due to administrative liability are established by the Ministry of Internal Affairs. We will interact with him. One of the most popular reasons for entry ban is the occurrence of debt to the state. A debt arises when a Chinese citizen forgets to pay a fine or owes something, such as traffic fine or taxes. It often happens that a foreigner receives a fine and didn't even know about it. The deadline for payment has expired and the result is an entry ban. In this situation, everything is quite simple. We are writing a request to the authorities. You also need to attach a scan of passport. In the request, we require you to provide details for paying the debt. The response period is up to 30 days. After receiving the details, it is important to pay the fine. Without this, it will be not possible to lift the ban. We pay and take the receipt. You can pay through a Russian bank or online application. Next, we write to the authority that we have paid the debt for this period and attach a scan of the passport, a receipt for payment and the response from the authority, where they write about the foreign's debt. If the ban has been lifted, you should not move in immediately. You need to wait up to a month for the database to be updated. The law sets time limits for foreigners to stay in Russia. If you violate them, you may receive an entry ban. Such deadlines are established by the law. Foreign citizens can stay in Russia for 90 or 180 days. For violating deadline, they can receive an entry ban for 3 and 5 years. There is so often a situation where the Ministry of Internal Affairs may have made a mistake in immigration documents or did not put a stamp to indicate that a Chinese citizens left the country. Undesirability of stay is legal status established by the Ministry of Justice or Rospotrebnadzor. With this status, a Chinese citizen cannot be in Russia. A conviction occurs after court decision that a foreigner is guilty of violation of the criminal code of Russia. A criminal record has a period of time. It can expire or removed or expunged. For having a criminal record in Russia, a foreigner may receive an entry ban. It is established by the penitentiary service. The foreigner's goal in this case is to short the period of the ban, because of the authority established it without a period. As you can see, important position in the claim may be that the foreigner is not dangerous to the state and society, and has already suffered responsibility and has a connection with Russia. In addition, if a foreigner's criminal record is cleared by the court, the status undesirable stay can also be removed. This also happens through the courts. The illness of Chinese citizen may be grounds for entry ban for him. There is a list of such diseases: tuberculosis, syphilis, drug addiction, and HIV. As we see, there are two options where disease can be cured and when it cannot. Two different situations. In cases where disease can be cured, such as tuberculosis or syphilis, the Chinese citizen must be cured first. He must then obtain a medical certificate from a government agency in his country. After this, Rospotrebnadzor will temporarily open entry into the country, so that is, foreigner can go to medical examination in Russia. He must confirm that he is healthy. Doctors will confirm that fact, and Rospotrebnadzor will remove the undesirability of your stay. If it doesn't work, then we go to court with a statement of claim. If a foreigner's illness cannot be cured, then we follow the usual procedure. First, a request to Rospotrebnadzor describing our position, then work through the court. It will be important whether the foreigner has a connection with Russia and whether he spread this disease in his country. One of the most difficult types of entry ban from the Federal Security Service, the state secret, and the fact that the service has ground that a foreigner is dangerous to the state and public security of Russia. In this case, you will also need the help of the lawyer. A specialist will help you submit a request to the Federal Security Service to find out the reason for the ban. The ban from the Federal Security Service is really complicated. This is a less of information and a state secret. However, it is worth trying to work with this situation in court. The question arises, what relation does Belarus have to the ban on entry into Russia? It is simple. Russia and Belarus have an international agreement on the implementation of entry bans. If a Chinese citizen receives a ban on entry into Belarus, he will not be able to enter Russia. The grounds may be the same as in Russia: fine, terms, administrative liability, illness, criminal record, and so on. The difference is that in this case we start working with the authorities of the Republic of Belarus. In this case, we send a request to Belarus authorities.